Mount Rushmore of best college football quarterbacks of the 2010s. So last week we did best wide receivers of the 2010s. That was hard enough. I thought this was going to be easier. It's not.
There were some dogs at quarterback in the 2010s. I mean, they're all the guys right now in the NFL. Like, when you really sit back and think about the quarterbacks from the 2010s, it's like, yeah, they are literally all of them are like running the NFL currently. Second half of the 2010s, at least.
And it's tough to look at because you can look at this one of two ways. You go by peak. Like, they had that one season that was unbelievable and it was fantastic.
Joe Burrow 2019.
Or do you go, they played 4 years or they played 3 years. They put up crazy numbers. So, that's what makes this a little bit harder. So yeah. I will allow you to go first and have the first pick.
Yeah. I think my first quarterback on my Mount Rushmore has to be Lamar Jackson. I'm a Lamar truther. He has always been spectacular. I mean, his one highlight from high school where he stops right at the goal line and that player goes flying past him and he just walks in and the drops. Like, Lamar's been doing that since he was 16 years old. And we got to see even more of it when he was at Louisville, just making these college players just look silly. It's like what is going on? This is ridiculous. Won a Heisman Trophy, never got to a national championship just by nature of playing at Louisville. Had he been somewhere bigger, I'm sure that there would have been a way better chance for him to get a ring. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, he is my first Mount Rushmore pick from the quarterbacks of the 2010s.
Yeah. I'm getting an opinion. See, because I'm having trouble. Do I just pick it on peak? Because if I pick it on peak alone, on like who electrified college football, it's really hard. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. Cam Newton, 14-0. The passing numbers are unbelievable. What's even crazier is he rushed for almost 1,500 yards.
Yeah,
as a quarterback and a big quarterback. Like, not this isn't Lamar, this isn't Kyler. This is a 6'7" giant men among boys guy.
Yeah, like Bo Jackson's numbers were in danger by a quarterback.
Yeah, single season numbers, there was a serious discussion about it, what happens here. And that team was not good.
No.
Average football team. But when your quarterback throws for 30 and runs for 20, when your quarterback is responsible for 50 touchdowns between running and passing, that covers up a lot of problems.
That's a big peak too. And I think Cam Newton is in the conversation for greatest football players ever in college football history.
Yeah.
He's got to be up there. It was an interesting journey for him too in his career. He started out at, where was he at? Florida.
And no. So he verbally committed, all but signed it to Mississippi State.
That's right.
Was in the student section ringing cowbells at a game as a senior in high school. Like, he was going to Mississippi State. They had him in the, and this, now all the guys go, they put pads on, they take promo pictures. They didn't do that like that. He had promo pictures done. They were getting posters ready. He was going to Mississippi State. Then he goes to Florida and has a problem at Florida. And then where did he end up? JUCO?
Yeah, he went to Coffeyville, I think.
Yeah.
Where I think Brandon Jacobs went to the same JUCO at one point. Yeah.
His journey is the journey of a guy that at the end of his career, you go, man, what could have happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when you hear a guy was like, I was gonna go here and then here, and they ended up at JUCO, and then I went that never works.
And then on top of that, wins the Heisman, wins the national championship, goes to the NFL, wins an MVP, goes to the Super Bowl. Like it should have never happened. But Cam Newton, like there's a reason people call him Super Cam. Like he was just different. That's a great first pick.
All right, who you got at number 2?
My second one, I'm going, Lamar's career. I'm going to go peak on my second pick here. Joe Burrow. Joe Shiesty, 2019. The greatest quarterback season we've ever seen in college football. I mean, they went, what did they end up going? 15-0 that year?
Yes.
Because they went 12-0, won the SEC championship, won both rounds of the 4-team college football playoff. So yeah, Joe Burrow, one of the best offenses we've ever seen. And Joe Burrow was like the catalyst for that offense. I say peak because the year before, the 3 years that he was in undergrad at Ohio State, like touched the field like for kneel downs. That was it.
Yeah, couldn't get on the field.
No, and of course, I mean he's in a quarterback room with Cardell Jones. I'm freaking blanking on name. Braxton Miller, and I cannot believe I'm blanking on freaking Ohio State quarterback name right now. This is really embarrassing.
You wasn't there with Troy Smith, was he?
No, Troy Smith was like 07. 07, 08.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm ashamed of myself, but I have CTE, so I have a good excuse. But he was in a quarterback room that was filled with dogs, right? Transfers to LSU. His first year at LSU, not the best. Got beat by Texas in a bowl game in the postseason that year. And then follows it up the next season with the greatest offensive performance we've ever seen from a quarterback. It's one of those things where it's like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. So yeah, Joe Burrow.
All right, let me think here. I'm gonna go chalk. I'm gonna go Homer.
JT Barrett.
I could go Homer.
Was the name I was
I
thinking
could
of.
go Homer. Yeah, JT Barrett. I could go Homer on 2 picks, but I don't want to be that guy. Listen, man, it's unfair that we had I was gonna say we actually had 4 straight years where it was like this is not fair.
It was really stupid.
It's like, okay, come on. There will probably what we saw from Baker Mayfield from 2015 to 2017 will probably never be replicated in college football ever again because of the transfer portal. Like you're not going to have a guy that's going to come in, is going to have to sit for an entire season because he walks on.
He unenrolls right from Ole Miss. Yeah. It rolls.
Doesn't tell nobody. Unenrolls from Texas Tech. Doesn't tell anybody he's coming. Goes and rolls in Oklahoma, staying in the regular student dorms. If people are watching this, like I thought that was all like media thing. No, that really happened. He was not in the athletic dorms. But that year, he kind of like earned all the respect of not just the fan base, but of the football team itself. Like everybody knew the guy was a dog. Like he practiced incredibly hard, worked really hard, could not play. Like there wasn't room for him to play. But Baker just couldn't get on. And then when he got on 2015 to 2017, I mean, it was weird. It was electric and weird at the same time because he had nothing going for him physically.
No,
that should make it work.
I still think to this day he runs weird.
He runs. There's a lot of movement for not a lot of speed.
Yeah, like his legs are moving, but he is not. Like it's just weird to watch sometimes. Like I'm like I've maybe
it's a lot of
I've maybe seen this in like 1 or 2 other people in my lifetime, and it just like has never felt normal to me.
He runs like when 2 uncles at Thanksgiving who were like in their 50s decide they're going to foot race.
Had really bad knee problems growing up. Yeah. And it's like very obvious.
He's shifty for no reason, but what he did at Oklahoma, God, good Lord, almost 69% passing rating, passed for
Nice.
14,600 yards, 131 touchdowns, had 1,000 rushing yards, which is hilarious, and 21 rushing touchdowns. Heisman, Maxwell, Walter Camp, Davey O'Brien, AP Player of the Year, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, first team All American, 2 years, first team All Big 12, 2 years, Big 12 Offensive Freshman of the Year in 2013. And that wasn't even a good year. That was when he was at Tech. Um,
And
and if
he planted a flag in the middle of Ohio Stadium.
he, but he then went to Fayetteville and ran from
That's
cops.
true.
So, um, and the most wild thing for me, looking back on that era, is he was the best quarterback at Texas Tech, and I think Kyle Kingsbury to this day, I think he started to admit, I really screwed that thing up. Like Baker was winning his games, he got hurt. We didn't win any games. When he came back, I still let the guy that took his job have the job. When everybody was like, you guys went 4-0 with him.
Yeah. But then Patrick Mahomes
And then he
happened,
lost 3 games.
and they're like, okay, we're fine. And
Yeah,
had that
so
had that never happened, we would never have gotten that infamous Baker Mayfield versus Patrick Mahomes football game.
The greatest college football game I've ever seen in my entire life.
Just an insane amount of offense in that game.
It was wild. So I'll take Baker.
Great pick. Wow. Yeah, 2010s was there were some absolutely incredible college football quarterbacks. And I think one of them that I think people kind of forget how good he was in college, kind of because of where he went, and then how the fact that he was drafted by the Jaguars after that. People forget how good Trevor Lawrence was in college. Trevor Lawrence was him in college. He started out like 30-0, something ridiculous. Like it was like his junior year before he actually lost a football game, which is just like, that doesn't make any sense in my brain. One of the most talented players like we have ever seen, grew up like 30 minutes away from Justin Fields. Like they were constantly playing against each other in high school, which is just really weird to say out loud because they were like, their careers were kind of attached at the hip in college too, because like Clemson, Ohio State has kind of developed some sort of weird rivalry over the last 25 years. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence, went out, won the Heisman or won the national championship as true freshman. Yeah, when he hit Hunter Renfrow when they beat Alabama, it was his true freshman season. Hunter Renfrow. Speaking of the Raiders, and yeah, I think people just forget how good of a career Trevor Lawrence had in college. And I will put this out there just so that's on the record. His last game in college, he got BTA by the Ohio State Buckeyes, and it was a beautiful day. But before that, he had a fantastic career.
Yeah, did not lose a regular season game while at Clemson. 26-0 in regular season ACC play.
Which is just
that's bonkers.
Yeah, and this was like the era when like Florida State was legit.
Yeah, they were like ACC had some good football being played.
Yeah,
then.
North Carolina had some dogs in the 2010s as well. Virginia Tech was no slouch. The ACC there was a time where it was a very, very talented conference.
I like where you went with that, so I'm going to go with. Was this my third pick? Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to go with a guy that, because his NFL career did not go the way that it should, people forget. But 2013 to 2015, Jameis Winston at Florida State was electric and just so much fun. Won the Heisman, won every award that you could win, basically 2013. Youngest player to ever win the Heisman at the time, which is just wild. 8,000 passing yards over 2 years. Ranked second in Florida State's all-time touchdowns list and third in passing yards, despite playing half of the amount of games of his predecessors. So, yeah, just an absolute dog. And although his pro career has not panned out like I think everyone thought it would, he has turned into probably one of the best, like, just spokesmen for the game of football that we have seen in a long time. He loves football. He loves playing football. He loves people. He's like nothing funner than the clip of him at Hard Knocks where they're wanting him to hit the crossbar right before he's like, before I do that, I just want everyone to know, wait, Bible study at 3:00? Just make
That was
sure
this last season.
yeah.
Like, he's still out there.
You're
He's
like,
still doing it.
you're like, how do you hate that guy? But yeah, he was a ton of fun.
Yeah, he really was. I don't think there's been a quarterback since or before. I think he might be the only quarterback ever in the NFL history to do this. 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. Don't think I've ever
Yeah.
seen a 30 and 30 season. He threw for 5,000
Yeah.
yards that year and threw 30 interceptions. Imagine what his numbers
It
could have been
was
if he cut those in half.
It's the most frustrating year. You're like 30-30. How is it possible?
Is this a ESPN show? 30 for 30? Like, what are we doing here? They need to make a 30 for 30 about the 30 and 30 season.
Oh, they have to.
Great pick, number 3. My last one is my homer pick here. Blanked on his name earlier because I have brain problems, but JT Barrett, one of the greatest quarterbacks in Ohio State history. I had to look up his career stats because I knew that they were just dumb numbers. 9,434 yards, 104 touchdowns to 30 interceptions in his career. And 3,263 yards rushing and 43 rushing touchdowns in his career at Ohio State. And the most important thing about JT Barrett that I don't think people realize, never lost to the team up north. The most important piece of JT Barrett's history. He's the quarterbacks coach in Detroit right now, I think. He's coaching quarterbacks somewhere, and I think it is Detroit. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's Cleveland. I don't know. But yeah, JT Barrett was just a guy that went out. He was a great leader of men. Took care of the football, took care of his team, took care of his brothers, and won a lot of football games and scored a lot of touchdowns. I mean, what is that? 104 plus 43, 147 total touchdowns in his career at Ohio State. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, shout out JT Barrett.
My last one, I wasn't going to take 2 Oklahoma guys, but it would be disingenuous. It would be disingenuous, and it would be a shame to not have him on this list. Although the rest of college football thought it was a little unfair. The guy who had to redshirt and sit behind behind Baker in 2015. And we all got introduced to Kyler Murray when Baker Mayfield got in trouble and had to sit out a series for grabbing his nuts on the sideline at Kansas. That was very Lincoln Riley, like, I'm going to make him sit a series, guys. And they ran a quarterback run play, and he broke it down the sideline for 60 yards and ran out of bounds, and everyone went, that guy's fast.
Whoa, that was different.
Yeah, that was speed. Like, we'd seen speed. We'd seen Lamar. We'd seen Deshaun. We'd seen Cam. But they're like that speed, track speed. I don't know that I had ever seen track speed. And he is if he ever ran the 40, he was probably a 4.3 40 kid.
Yeah. And he's so short that he got there so quick too. Like,
yeah,
he hit his
it
top
looked
speed
faster.
very fast.
Yeah, like he could just, once he hit the edge, you had no chance. You couldn't. Your best bet was to I remember they used to put a graphic together, the angle the defensive backs would have to take to get to him, and it was like laughable. Like, you're basically running just straight up field and hoping that you can hit him, at some point. So, you sat, split time between another guy named Kyle Allen, before at A&M, walked on, sat behind Baker, 15-2 as a career starter, and undefeated record as a high school quarterback.
Greatest high school quarterback in Texas football history.
That's the most wild stat I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, you mean you won 4 state championships, you did not lose a game
In
for
Texas.
4 like, yeah, if you told me, like, no offense to the states, but if you said Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, I'd be like,
Whoa,
I mean, it's cool, but,
high school
like
football in Arkansas. Yeah, you're right.
like, if you're like, so you telling me you played 5A high school football in Texas and didn't lose a single game? But he was just so much fun. Watched him play a baseball game. The greatest athlete I've ever seen in my life.
He was drafted by the Oakland A's.
I watched him hit a routine ground out to third base that I thought, I watched baseball my whole life. I go, he's out. That third baseman did everything. He ran to that ball so fast, trying to get it in his glove quick enough could not.
And third
Tyler
basemen
beat
have
it out.
cannons.
Yeah, could not throw him out. It was like, this is bonkers that this kid plays. And in true Oklahoma fashion at the time, no one showing up to baseball games. And here, the greatest player in Texas high school football history is playing center field.
This guy's going to win the Heisman for your football team soon.
I remember showing up going, what are we doing?
Yeah.
This show you $8 to come watch a future Heisman Trophy winner and a #1 draft pick in MLB. No, we don't care.
Still, my undisputed first overall pick for quarterback for the United States flag football team.
Hey, I will say this. His dad, the most intense human being I've ever been around in my entire life. Like, a lot of how he's wired made sense when I met his father.
Maybe that's why he's so quiet and reserved.
His dad's stoic, like, intense eyes. You were like, oh, I bet growing up you had to do everything perfect. There's a reason you are good at football and baseball. Your dad is high standards. So let us know in the comments what our list looks like. Obviously, you're going to say, oh, you left off Johnny Manziel. I did.
Yeah.
You left off Deshaun Watson.
There's good reason.
You know, like, come on. Guys that probably should make the list if you were making your own list, Marcus Mariota at Oregon threw for almost 11,000 yards, 105 touchdowns in college.
Man, D'Anthony Thomas,
wow.
He had such fun. LaMichael James, he had such fun teammates to just like do stuff.
Yeah. Tua at Alabama.
Nah.
That was the era when Nick Saban was like, maybe we should recruit quarterbacks, like athletic ones.
They did have Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa on the same team at the same time.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck, I think, is a name too that probably could also potentially be on that list.
You talk about a guy doing a lot with very little.
Stanford.
Like,
they don't go there to play football. This is the opposite of what Cardale Jones said about Ohio State. He said, we ain't come here to play school. At Stanford, they say we came here only to play school.
Yeah, if you make to the NFL playing football at Stanford, I don't think anybody's going to question your work ethic when you get to the league.
Your name is John Elway, Andrew Luck, or Christian McCaffrey.
3 of the smartest human beings to ever play football.
And 3 of the best football players we have ever seen with our own 2 eyes.
Yeah. And one of them was like, I'm having CTE issues already. I'm leaving football. And everyone was like,
Yeah.
what? And it was like, guy's smart. He's not an idiot.
Yeah, one of them played his entire career without an ACL. Shout out John Elway. Go Broncos.
I think that's probably all the ones that probably should have maybe made the list. I was in college, or I was just out of college, really, and paying attention a little bit when Manziel was happening.
He was electric. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was. Anybody that saw it and went, I bet this will work in the league. Hey, that's on you if you thought that was going to work.
The Cleveland Browns. Speaking of franchises that ruin really talented football players, the Cleveland Browns.